Hi, I'm Kenny Anderson, Director of Multicultural Affairs for the City of Huntsville, and welcome to Impact. Each week we bring you information about exciting and insightful things that we hope will give you a chance to learn a little bit more about some of the hidden gems of our community. Today will be no different as I reintroduce you to someone that was on our show in the past. He's come back to share some great information about how this organization has been moving forward. He's Hillman Mohammed. He's the Alabama director of Black Wall Street, and we welcome him back to the broadcast.
Hey, Brother Ken, it's a pleasure being back on your show. You're doing some great work here in the city of Alabama. You were one of the first ones that I met upon relocating to Alabama, and your presence in the community is really felt.
Well, thank you. You know, one of the things that I love to do is networking with people who come into our community or who have already been here, who really want to do something to make the quality of people's lives better. And I know that your work through Black Wall Street, Alabama is designed specifically for that because you focus on things like entrepreneurship, economic empowerment, home ownership, and wealth accumulation, which is all something that people need to be talking about and considering. So just thank you for being here today and giving us some information about these things.
Appreciate it, Ken. It's my pleasure, really, because we offer a whole lot of opportunities that other people are not talking about. So therefore, the community is not focused on it.
Yeah, well, we're gonna shine that light on here for the next 11 minutes of this broadcast.
Okay,
So
I'm gonna go fast.
Well, yeah, listen, we're gonna give a lot of good information, and we'll have you come back and give us some updates and things like that as well. But let's get people acquainted with what the concept of Black Wall Street, Alabama is.
Black Wall Street, Alabama is part of a nationwide and global movement. And our focus is on empowering the Black community specifically, but not entirely, not exclusively, yes, through various educational programs, which we are looking to develop a new culture. See, culture is the thing that motivates movement and growth. Right now, when I came to Alabama and all over America, it's stagnant. The culture is not conducive to the time that we're living in. We're in a technology, or I would say global economy, global world, where if we still stuck on a local activity, we're going to be left behind. So our focus is on, as Barbara Jordan said, education is the key to unlocking economic and political empowerment. And this is something, Kenny, since I've been here, we're the one that's talking about this. And it's not that easy of a job to come into a city when you're new, when you're fresh, with new ideas. But I appreciate all those that I have met that have married to the idea and have partnered up with, giving me time to form the nucleus of the group that's going to do the work.
So what's the essence of your message? What do you say to people? Because you have been moving around the community as you've been firmly establishing this organization as a nonprofit organization that exists in the state for the sole purpose of the things that you mentioned. What's your message to people?
Well, the first thing, Brother Kenny, we have to understand money. We have earnings of over $1 trillion. We are the 10th richest nation, if we was to call ourselves a nation, and yet and still we can't tell that by the look at our community and our activity and our business and economic involvement. So the first thing we have to do is, the main thing that Black Wall Street is concerned with, education on all levels. We're talking about wealth, we're talking about health, we're talking about agriculture, and we're talking about really teaching people the art of learning how to better themselves, how to become a better person even after you are out of the school system. It's still time for growth. And because this is a spiritual movement, we have to invoke the name of God and His Christ that is aiding us and looking for us to really take over our own our own ability to do for self and stop depending. We have too much money coming into our hands each year. But I think the saying is right, where there's no vision, the people perish. And I'm not against any leadership. I'm inviting community leaders. I'm inviting black professionals, black businesses. When I say I'm talking about as the director, because I'm the one that's mainly out in the community. Hey, let's form a platform where we all can grow on. And I was at Oakwood University this morning, and I went into a building, and they had on the monitor a speaker. I didn't have that much time, but he was speaking about the need for a black organization to get the community to get involved in the movements. You know, back in the 60s, the 70s, black people was involved in movement. But what has happened? Has the movement become stagnant, or the community, or both? Without putting blame game, we have to become active as leaders and energized with a new type of leadership, which I have termed as transformational leadership. We have to transform by the renewing of the mind through education.
So you do educational forums on a monthly basis?
Well, we started off on a monthly basis, but then our budget.
Sure.
You know, we was just establishing. Our budget became at a point where we couldn't continue because we didn't get the support. And for 2000, going forward, next year, we are looking at becoming more active in the community with scheduled events, dealing with seminars, and then monthly event on a broader scope.
So when people come, are these free events to the community?
All our events are free.
All right, so they're free events, and give me an example of perhaps maybe a workshop that you've done up to now that has been designed to educate people in the community.
We've had seminars that's based on financial education, alternative health, the need for organic farming.
All right. Let me do the financial health one. I'm just trying to flesh this out so people understand. If a person comes, we all accept the premise that people need to have financial literacy. They need to understand money. They need to understand how it works. They need to understand, you know, the responsibilities that come with having it. They need to know all of those kinds of things. They need to move out of consumerism and leverage their ability to earn money so that they now become investors.
Exactly.
Okay, so you bring in a speaker and the person kind of talks about those things. Is there homework that's done? Just what is that process and experience like for people that come?
Well, what we have been doing, especially in the financial education, is teaching people, especially the W-2 wage earners and small business, how to take advantage of that earnings that comes to them. As a W-2 wage earner, the IRS has a stated fact on their website, say 80% of the W-2 wage earners have their employees taking out too much money out of their paycheck because when they initially was hired, they filled out their W-4 form incorrectly. Not looking at the IRS website, but listening to Aunt Jenny and Uncle Elmo giving us advice. And so we miscalculate or we misunderstand the purpose of the W-4. It's not to claim your dependents, it's to figure out your allowances, which include dependents. But you have other tax deductible items on that W-4 form if you understand how to do it. You can come up with more allowances.
Right, so the experience then becomes helping people really kind of understand the financial landscape in which they operate, things that are really intricately a part of their lives and experiences as employees, people who are exposed to money, and being able to really understand how whatever they're experiencing is something that they are in control of, but they've got to be able to understand it in order to be able to apply it.
Exactly. And you mentioned about the investment part. That's one stage. That's one strategy that we have in that system. Once we could get you taking home more money off of your earnings each pay period, then you could eliminate debt, which is another killer, because the interest on debt is horrendous. But you let the money set up for a whole year and you joyful over a refund,
Yeah.
which you don't get any interest, but somebody made interest because currency is not made to be parked. It's made to flow, you know. So somebody is making money when you are getting further in debt. So now when you develop the cash flow through our system of education, now you therefore have some disposable income that you could set aside for 5 years, for 10 years, and let it work at a greater pace of interest for you.
Yeah.
And so this is one of the whole, I mean, it looks real small to a person that's grinding, if I can use that language. But if we stop and start paying attention to what's happening, and one of our first agenda for 2019 is to honoring Dr. Martin Luther King and his work in bringing about social equality. But when he was killed, just before he was killed, he was going on an economic flight then. And this is where we have not continued as leaders in that vein. And this is what we want to do, is bring that attention back to this man that worked so hard in Alabama. And I'm the state director for Alabama, so therefore I know about his Selma, Montgomery, Birmingham. And I don't know about too much activity up in Huntsville, from what I'm learning. So I don't know what that is, but we need to start in Huntsville, because Huntsville is the fastest growing city in Alabama.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's part of what your fact finding is right now, just getting out and meeting people and finding out what they're doing. There are some people who are doing some things, but I think it's important for all of us to kind of understand who's doing what, how they're doing it, what are the resources that are available, and how can we better work together in that process. Hillman Mohammed is Alabama State Director for Black Wall Street. And if people wanted to get more information about the work that you're doing, if people wanted to find out ways that they can perhaps support the work that you're doing, how would they go about doing that?
Well, we have a website, is bwsalabama.org. There's you could help by donating, you could help by becoming a member, you could do all that on the website. Or you could email us at alabamabws@gmail.com. Or you could call at 256-945-4515. And one of the things, I'm glad you mentioned that. I know we could get out of time. But right now, it's a lot of people doing things, but we like this. If we was like this, we could encourage the community and catch the community, because a net catch more than an open fist.
That's a great way to end this conversation, especially one that involves how we can educate ourselves better. As you said, you're focused specifically on the African American community, but not exclusive, because the fundamental principles that you're talking about are principles that you would hope everyone would be able to benefit from. And some people have learned better than others. And so we want to be able to share that knowledge and information. Hillman, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity.
All right. I want to thank you for being a part of our conversation today. We hope that we've taught you a lot about Black Wall Street, Alabama, and that you can certainly check them out on the net. You can check them out on their social media present sites. You can give Hillman a call at the number that we've placed on the screen so that you can reach out to him to get more information about this organization and the educational initiatives that are a part of helping the community grow and thrive. For Impact, we hope that you enjoyed the show that you just watched and that you'll check us out again at our webpage, which is huntsvilleal.gov, where you can go to the Media Center, Impact with Kenny Anderson, and see a video of what you just watched. You can also share it so that others can gain knowledge and information from what we have to share as well. You can also go to our social media pages, which are Impact with Kenny Anderson on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can see some shots of what happens once the camera stops rolling. I'm Kenny Anderson for Impact. We'll see you again soon.